Hi there, welcome to Let's Talk Tottenham. And isn't Tottenham World a lovely place again? A last gasp win, right back in this top four race, and with the games in hand, potentially in a top three race as well. And Hugo is signed until 2024, so not really anything to complain about other than the transfers. But when do we not complain about transfers? Two great guests. Hopefully, Chris from Leicester Till I Die TV will be on in a bit as well, but he may be still crying or not wanting to come on, but hopefully he'll come on. But I'll introduce the guests that are so far. Tommy, who you know from Tommy Talks Ball. How you doing, Tommy? Presumably in a good mood.
Well, sort of 50-50. Yeah, I mean, obviously the massive win on Wednesday, and that news that come out last night, Hugo Lloris signing a 2-year deal. That's a bit 2-year extension, so we got him till 2024. That is like another signing. Even though we still haven't signed anyone, that is sort of like another signing. I'm not happy with the transfer window, the whole Adama Traore affair. But we go into Sunday with adrenaline after that Leicester game, and
absolutely.
That's great.
Your channel, Tommy Talks Ball, is in the description as well as Ankit's and Chris's as well. But Tommy Talks Ball. Where can people find that?
Yeah. As the Twitter suggests, it's the same. It's the same on YouTube. Tommy Talks Ball. You're on there a lot. Ankit, I get Ankit on a lot before we play Chelsea or after we play Chelsea as well. So if you haven't subscribed, just jump over there and subscribe. But make sure you subscribe to Chris first.
Excellent. And Ankit as well. We're obviously playing Chelsea at the weekend. Ankit, a Chelsea fan. How you doing, Ankit? You worried, or it's Tottenham, so it's business as usual for the last 20 odd years?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me again, Chris. Great channel that you're developing. And of course, great to discuss ball with Tommy always, I say, but yes, I am more worried about Tottenham now than I was when we played in the Carabao Cup. And I'm sure we discussed lots then as well.
Good.
I thought we would, improve a lot in terms of just the morale of the team, but actually it's gone downwards in the league at least, and that's what Conte likes, the league play. So yes, bring it on is what I would say, because we've got nothing to lose. It's a proper battle, a 6-pointer. So great discussion. Looking forward to it.
Excellent. And your channel as well, Almighty Blues. Where can people find that?
Oh, yes, for sure. So Almighty Blues FC, it's a YouTube channel. So we do a lot of content, not just on Chelsea, but on all the clubs. Primarily, I have an affinity to EPL. So we cover most of the EPL clubs, the top 6 majorly, and of course the Champions League and some international tournaments as well. And we do a lot of trivia. You can find us on YouTube as Almighty Blues FC, on Twitter, Instagram as Almighty Blues FC. And of course, everyone is welcome.
Excellent. And a couple of comments coming in. Wayne, who's always on Spurs streams, big supporter, Wayne. Afternoon, good couple of days. Bergwijn turns into the Hulk and demolishes Leicester. Hugo signs for 2 more years and expecting 1 year at best. We'll be talking about both of those. And Chris Agenbar. How you doing, Chris? Thanks, everybody, for watching. And the comments, keep them coming in. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. All helps the channel. Then go into the description and go onto Tommy's channel, Ankit's channel, and Chris's channel, and do the same. But we'll start. Tommy... Last-minute winners in football, there's nothing better, is there? I didn't actually watch the game. It was my girlfriend's birthday, so I was round hers. What a game to miss. What a game to miss.
No way. You didn't watch the game. Oh,
yeah, but what a game to miss. But, and they say romance is dead. But, yeah, I'm not sure I would have coped very well watching that. I think I would have been fairly angry until 95 minutes. But last-minute winners, nothing better than that, right? And what a way to win a game as well and get a bit of, like you say, momentum is with us, adrenaline is with us, and we've just got to carry that on. But did you watch the whole game? Did you see that coming? We deserved something out of the game, I thought, with 27 shots to their 14. But, what did you think of the game and particularly that last-minute winner?
We absolutely dominated the game. From start to finish, we dominated the game. Maybe not so much at the start of the second. The start of the second half, maybe that 20 minutes was the only period we didn't dominate. So the other 70, 75 minutes, we were completely in control. We just, we had some defensive frailties. We've still got the defensive frailties. We were missing Dyer and Romero, probably our 2 best centre-backs. But going forward, we were creating. Harry Kane was fantastic. Skip was fantastic as ever. It felt like 6 points in the end, because the point at the end would have been fantastic. If you got that late goal, the 94th minute, and took the point, that would have felt like 3 points. I was so happy at that stage. But the boys didn't give up. They weren't really celebrating it. They put the ball back on a semicircle and went again. And that's got to be Conte's influence. Never, ever die. You never, ever die.
No.
You keep going to the end. Yeah. And then the winner was just incredible. Absolutely incredible. And the Kane ball to Bergwijn for that goal was sensational. What a spectacle that was. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully Chris will be on to talk about the Leicester point of view. I think you'd be annoyed at conceding the equaliser, but obviously we were pushing the door, going against the door and everything like that. But then to literally take kickoff and try a ball that just wasn't on, I didn't really understand that at all. And it was literally from the kickoff that our winner came from. But yeah, I mean, Ankit, we've got you next. I think the games before that, the games before that were against you because obviously the North London derby, they got scared and didn't play. We were Wednesday's game was complete chalk and cheese compared to how we played against Chelsea, where we just didn't turn up and didn't look like attacking you at all. So do you think it will be a different way that Spurs play in the way against Leicester, or do you think Leicester are kind of ideal opponents for us in a way, certainly at their place, because they'll attack us, they'll open up, and then we're a counter-attacking team, whereas Tuchel, I think, is one of the best tacticians in the league. So do you think he'll kind of shut down shop a little bit again and try and nullify our attacking threat? But are you worried at all that we'll just do to you what we did to Leicester, or do you think it'll be fairly similar to what we saw in the Carabao Cup games?
Yeah, in a strange way, it's kind of been a similar, a week and a half for both the clubs, Spurs and Chelsea, but maybe directly opposite as well. Because I think what you did in the Carabao Cup was totally negative football, and then you went and did that against Leicester, and we did exactly opposite. In the Carabao Cup, we were on the front foot against Spurs, and then I don't know what happens to us in the league in the last month. I don't know, it's off the pitch issues or whatever you may say. Yes, you say that Tuchel has been a great tactician. No two ways about it. I am definitely Tuchel in forever. If you really ask me, that's how good it's been.
Forever.
Yeah, I think it's not going to happen. Like we're Chelsea, and that's worked for us. But this time, I think Tuchel, certainly, like, he's human after all. And I can see certainly tactically he's not got things right in the recent league games. So I'm really hoping that Antonio Conte, like, he does not surprise teams most in terms of the tactics. You kind of know what you're going to get, right, with Antonio Conte. Like, you know basically that he's going to have a structure in place. You're going to hit on the counter, especially in the big games, and that's how he's always played. Be it at Chelsea, be it at Italy, be it Inter Milan, or basically at Spurs already, right? So knowing that, I think Tuchel will have an upper hand in terms of maybe trying, and the fact that we've already played Spurs, beaten you all, a couple of times more recently under Conte as well. I know it was the Cups, but as in that is the only positive, if I may say so. But I have to give it to you all. Like, that winner against Leicester is not just a winner. Like, I've had so many winners with Chelsea that I've watched, but 2 goals in 3 minutes and both in injury time, and that too Bergwijn scoring. And if that cannot get you buoyed up for this game, I don't know what will. That's the aspect. Yeah, that's the aspect I have to say that I'm really scared about. Not scared, I would say that's not the right word. Probably I'm weary about, for sure, right? Because this time we are not in that kind of momentum in terms of the morale of the team as well. There have been a lot of, as in Pandit saying that Ziyech, Lukaku had a spat on the pitch. Again, those are speculative things. I wouldn't reach, so far. But at the same time, we know playing at the Bridge, the crowd can go against us if, in case Antonio Conte does better, if in case Lukaku gives a hug to Conte, those little things, it will really matter in this game, especially being a 6-pointer. And now I think if you win all your games, you'll be 4 points ahead of us, which is like, oh, wow. Knowing Conte, he's known to go on runs, and he's already been on that. And I think he's also chasing a record of Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel, along with Oli, have been the only managers to have gone on that unbeaten streak in the league starting, right? So that's something that I'm sure, Tuchel will be knowing about, and there will be certainly a lot of subplots within the game that I'm looking forward to. But yes, bottom line is we need to get things right, and I can see us as a change maybe going on the front foot. And yes, you're right, it may play into the Spurs' hands, but hopefully not. That's what I think.
Yeah. How you doing, Daryl? Cheers for watching and the comment as well. And yeah, hit those likes, hit those subscribe, people. But Stephen Bergwijn, Tommy, is his Spurs career resumed? We got a comment from Chris Agenbar here. What an angle Stevie B hit to get the ball past the last man on the goal. You've already mentioned the pass by Kane. That pass by Kane tempted Schmeichel out, and as soon as he came out and then had to stop, it's made Bergwijn's mind up for him. But the composure to look up, see where the defender was, I think it's Sorencho near post, and go far post. Superb from him there. And he's been a player, a Bergwijn, that's been linked with a move away in January. And I didn't want him to leave. He's young, he's energetic, and you saw the passion when he scored the goal and everything like that. And we both thought when Nuno came in, I remember talking to you on your stream, he could be a right wing back there. So he's versatile, and we got Son injured, so he could be the player that kind of replaces him while he's out injured. But what do you see happening for him now? Do you think he'll get a chance against Chelsea? Do you think he'll feature in Conte's plans a bit more, or do you just think it was just one of those really good days at the office?
Well, we were very aware that Ajax came in with a bid for him a week ago, £15 million, something like that. And we rejected it, and it was. I'm glad we rejected it, because it wasn't just this game. He played really well against West Ham, if you remember, in the Carabao Cup. He got an assist and a goal. He was very, very good. It was, when you say it was it was just his day. That does happen with Stevie B. He can be absolutely fantastic, or he can be absolutely dire, especially with his finishing. I've noticed his finishing is very much, it's completely on point or completely off point. So it was on point the other day. But still, he's certainly got a place in this team. And it would have been completely counterproductive if we brought Adama Traore in, so Bergwijn. Completely counterproductive. It wouldn't make any sense to me. It wouldn't make any sense. No. If you're going to bring... We're short of wingers as it is. Why would you get rid of Bergwijn? He can play right wing back and play left wing, right wing. That's predominantly what we signed him for, left wing, right wing. On the left wing with Son injured, we've got Gill still hasn't started the game. So it would have been, as I said, counterproductive if you sold Bergwijn to get Adama in. I'm all up for getting Traore in. I was a bit divisive on the matter, but £20 million it's a good fat value in this market. But we have to sell Dele Alli, Lo Celso, or Ndombele first. Way before Bergwijn. I think he's doubled his value. That £15 million, I don't think Levy would take, well, knowing Levy, wouldn't take 45 million now just simply after one game. But I wouldn't want to sell him anyway. I love Stevie B. He's still, as you said, very young. He's got a ceiling of potential. There's a ceiling there where I think he can do a lot better than some of the other players in the team. So, yeah. I'm a lover of Stevie B, and not just because of this game. As I say, he played really well against West Ham too. If he stays fit, then he's, he could be a big part of this team. I don't think he will start on Sunday though. I think we'll go pretty much the same as we did. So I doubt he'll start on Sunday, but who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, fitness is a big issue. He seems to score a goal, look really good, and then he gets injured again. Got a few comments. Cody's in the channel. Do you remember him, Ankit?
Oh yes, Cody. Of course. Come on. Always up for a good banter.
Yeah, good guy, Cody. Hopefully he can come on here soon. Davil, again, I try not to be sentimental with players. If we can improve the squad, then so be it. I just want to stop the slide. Conte needs to rise the levels up. You can argue he is rising the levels up. That fight that we showed in that was similar to our Ajax game. And then we got United fan Ben, who was on here last time. As a United fan, disappointed after your late goals against Watford and Leicester. Good. Big goals in context to top four. Does this make Spurs favourite for top four? Now, he's one of my good friends, Ben, and we were texting each other. Apparently, I've texted him that there's no chance we were going to get top four, when in actuality, what I said was, I don't think we're favourites. That apparently means we've got no chance. So I will tell you now, Ben, so it's on record on YouTube. I don't think we're favourites for top four, because I still think we need to make signings in January. But with the games that we've got in hand, and if we can carry on with this run, then we would be favourites for top four. But at this moment in time, there's too much going on to say there's a favourite for top four. But if we can sign certainly a creative midfielder, I think that would put us almost top of the pile. But Ankit, I mean, talking of top four, you're third at the moment, but with the games in hand, if we win all of those 4 games, big ask. And this game is absolutely huge, because if we can win that, we're 5 points behind you with 4 games in hand. Are you slightly worried or anything about the top 4 race, about sliding down to 5th, or do you think 3rd is okay? Because it wasn't that long ago that it was a 3-horse race for the title, you, City, Liverpool, and you seem to, I don't think there's a title race anymore. I think if City lose this, then they're shocking. But are you worried about the teams that, like, the Spurs, the Arsenals, the Uniteds, Try not to miss anyone out and be disrespectful.
Yeah.
Wolves are up there. We won't say the other team in North London, even though they are, a rival. Leicester aren't out of it. They're a good team, Leicester. They're having a few injury problems. But yeah, are you worried about maybe slipping out of the top four? Do you think you'll definitely get top four? It's just whether you'll get third or fourth.
See, as in from this point, if we really miss out on top four, come on, as in, I don't want to say it, but Chelsea has done that in the past about sacking managers. I think Tuchel has probably lost the dressing room, is what I would say, if we miss out on top four from this point on as well. Yes, definitely top two doesn't look basically great right now. Top three certainly is up, as in we have it in our own hands. Yes, you can say Spurs have games in hand. Manchester United have a couple of games in hand, if I'm not wrong. But it's easier said than done winning those games. We are in the Premier League, and I know that Conte has been on a great run. But I can't see this kind of form continuing with the squad that you have. No disrespect again, but it'll be really great. As in, if you do that, fantastic. But it'll be difficult, right? So for me, it comes down to this particular game. Yes, if we are able to, I think we probably have to beat Tottenham. Let me put it that way, right? Because if we even draw, Spurs still have an extra game in hand. Even if you kind of win the other two games to actually go ahead of us, so we need to win this game. And yes, I can see that happening. And yes, for people out there who think that Liverpool are in the title challenge, I also would like to say, Liverpool are also out. As much as they would like to be in it, City, we have to give it to City. They have been on a different level altogether. So we knew Pep had it in him. He's been there, done that. Tuchel has done that in the cups, but not in the leagues more recently. So that's something that we have to prove in coming seasons. But hopefully, it's about Tuchel getting it right in this particular month and a half. If he's able to get maybe 80% of the points that we are going for, because we've literally lost 50% of the points we went for in the last month. So we really want to improve on that. So we just need some kind of strong structure. And if the team is believing that that structure is working, it's all in the mind. For us, we are one of those teams, right? If say Spurs are basically behind us now by just maybe a couple points, if not nothing, and then West Ham you mentioned, of course Arsenal, we've got to mention them. I know our rivals as well, but the fact is that in the league you can't say anything is certain right now. For me, when these things happen with Chelsea, that's when Chelsea you see the best of, and it's just about us taking things off the pedal. And that has unfortunately been our squad. They're not as motivated, they're not as charged up as maybe what a City player would be. And that is the main issue that I have with most of our players. You can say even about Spurs, right? And we spoke about in the last stream, right? That is the whole point. Until you actually prop up in them till the edge, they won't react. And that's how it's been. So I can strangely see us reacting to this, because they are playing at least for their careers and they want to be in the top four, because I don't see us winning the Champions League this time. But yes, I said the same thing last time. So let's see what happens.
Yeah. Daryl's put a comment in. Don't think Conte raised the form up, but not the level of the. I think Conte raised the form up, but not the level of the player. We still do make a lot of mistakes. I think that the difference there is under Nuno, we didn't attack. So when we made a mistake and conceded the goal, that was almost game over. Whereas against Leicester, it was all attack, like Tommy said, attack from the start, and we were all over them, barring a small period in the second half. So there was always a chance of us getting back in that game, even though we made mistakes.
Under Jose and Nuno, that that 2-1 down, we would never have come back and won the game. Maybe nick to go, but there's no way we'd have come back.
At least with Jose, there was an obvious. Well, Kane and Son are getting our goals, so we've got to get them in the game. No, there was literally none of that. They may as well have been having a cup of tea on the sidelines, Kane and Son.
And Jose still wasn't about fitness either. He was all about shape. Of course, every player and every club work on fitness, but it wasn't about. It was simply shape. And when you organize, you don't need massive amounts of fitness. You just need the players that are counter-attacking to have the fitness levels. So yeah, we saw that under Jose and Nuno, very, very pragmatic. But this is different. Yeah. I think we were bottom of the table, or 19th or 20th in terms of how many kilometers we were running the game, and now we're top or second in terms of kilometers running the game, and that shows perfectly in the game under Conte so far. We do not give up till the end. Same with the Watford game. We should have beat Watford comfortably.
And that shows as well why we were still attacking in 90+7, because we've got the energy to do so. Under Poch, we did that all the time. Under Nuno, with being last in the league, like you say, come 85 minutes, absolutely shattered. can't run. But yeah, sorry, cut
Exactly.
you off there. Apologies.
Exactly. And same with Watford, 96th minute. Yeah, we should have beat them comfortably, but it was the 96th minute we got that goal. We just don't stop until the end. And I think Conte really is getting the best out of this team. As I think, as Daryl Denton puts there, I think Conte rise the form up, but not the level of the player. I think he's just getting the very best out of this squad. At the moment, he literally is squeezing all the talent he can out. Big up to everyone. Daryl, Ryan, William. What am I on about? Wayne Bonner. Lots of regulars in the chat. They're here, there, and everywhere. So yeah, big up.
Big supporters of all the Spurs channels, not just this one. I appreciate.
But it's a good point. It's a good point. A good point you raised about Conte. I still think we need signings for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get onto that in a little bit. But Kane scored a goal. I can't remember a Spurs game where we had 2 goals cleared off the line and 1 against the bar. And scored 3 goals. You see that in Football Manager, not in actual real life that I can remember. But Kane, the one that came off the line, was superb, intricate play in the middle of the box, dancing feet, and then very unlucky header. He should have scored against the bar. That was fairly terrible. But his goal that he took, it looked to me as soon as he got put through, and a special mention for Winks there, who again is not Winks pass sideways Winks like he has been for the last 2 seasons. It's forward pass, forward pass, forward pass. He got an assist against Southampton. That was a goal. That wasn't offside, I don't think, but it obviously didn't count. This one did. But Kane looked to me, as soon as he got that ball there, he knew what he was going to do. He was going to sit Soyuncu on the floor, and the finish was just what you expect from Kane seasons gone by, just into the box, composure in the back of the net. And then the pass for Bergwijn's winner, just tempted Schmeichel out. As soon as Schmeichel comes out, all the momentum is there. Sees Bergwijn, has to stop, flat-footed, and the rest is history. But yeah, and Doherty as well. I'm throwing a lot of players at you here. I do apologise. Ankit on his channel yesterday said, "Is this Doherty's career revived?" I'm not sure. One good chest in a season and a half is going to change his Spurs career, but he hasn't done himself any harm. But yeah, specifically Kane, is he back to his best? Winks, are we seeing what Winks was doing when Pochettino was picking him every week? And Doherty, do you see that as a start of his Spurs career? Or do you think it's just, like I said, just one good bit in however long he's been here?
Well, I mean, Doherty, to be fair, Doherty's never had a fair run in the position that we signed him for, right wing back, which is, I don't really know why we signed him under Mourinho, to be perfectly honest, because, he he's only ever really played before at the back. So Doherty immediately went in as a right back. And the same earlier on this season. Everybody thought Nuno was going to play free at the back. Everybody, because that was his successful. That's where he was successful at Wolves. That's how he got the 7th place finishes with the free at the back and the wing backs. So Doherty's never played there. He hasn't had a chance under Conte. He hasn't had like 2 games on the bounce because Emerson's been there. Emerson is an absolute liability. He's a liability. He did come off injured. I said it time and time again. I said it before he came off injured. I've said it for the last month, 6 weeks. He can't cross. He can't. His defending is absolutely abysmal. He's like a headless chicken.
I mean, the crossing is something we know. The crossing is something we know. If Doherty gets a run, he can do, because he was second assister for a defender, I think, behind Alexander-Arnold the season before we signed him. But yeah, I feel
Doherty done more in 2 minutes. Doherty done more in 2 minutes on the attacking front than Emerson Royal's done in 270 in 3 games.
Chris Akenbar said this, Doherty, it was a shop window performance. Do you agree with that, or do you just think it's it was suited to him? It was obviously an attacking game because
we've got to stop. We can't go crazy. Same with Bergwijn. We can't go crazy about 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? It was 2 minutes.
Darryl said
Doherty the same.
Yeah, Darryl said he was never fit under Jose or Nuno, so maybe a fitter player will always improve a bit.
And he never played in this position. I know it's not as difficult to adapt from a right wing back to a right back, but he wasn't that bad at the start of last season. He really wasn't. It was the second half of last season where everyone was just dross. I'm not sticking up for Doherty saying he's this world-class player. Great, but he needs to. He should get a run now. If Emerson and Doherty is still there by the end of this window, he needs to get a run of games, because Emerson's clearly he's young, but if you're not good enough, if you're putting these level performances in that are just shocking on both fronts, attacking and defending, you can't be in the team. You can't be in the team for me. So, yeah, I would see how these two go. But do you know what? If we get Adama in, we've got potentially 3 right wing backs. If we don't play with a 3-5-2 or 5-3-2, we're not playing with wingers. So Adama's in as a right wing back. We've got 3 right wing backs. So there was talk of Doherty's going to be swapped for Adama. There was going to be a deal where Doherty would go back to Wolves and we get Adama. But I wouldn't be so against that to be honest. But if Emerson and Doherty is still there by the end of the window, Doherty needs a crack. He needs 3 or 4 games on the back. See what he can do.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. Yeah, and in terms of the 2 Harrys, one back to his best and one playing how he should be playing like he was under Poch.
I think Winks was one of the quieter players. I didn't see much of him at all in this game. He might have looked good in the highlights, but no, overall we didn't really see too much of him. I didn't see too much of him in the game, but he was good. He was decent. But Skip and Højbjerg were outstanding. Skip was absolutely fantastic again.
Yeah, I mean he put that ball through for Mora, which Schmeichel smothered out, and then it fell to Højbjerg and off the line again. I've been saying Højbjerg needs a vest. He had one cleared off the line. He made the interception for the 3rd goal, which led to the goal, and then he put the ball in. Doherty chested it and then got ricochet to Bergwijn. So maybe he doesn't need to have a vest. But what do you think of Kane? Is he back to his best? Because he looked. I saw highlights, obviously, but he looked really hungry and confident. He's not snatching at chances. That goal was placed. That was him placing it rather than snatching it, which he was doing earlier in the season.
I have seen him do that. I think over the last month to 6, even before Nuno got sacked, I think his level of performance has been. The first month he was still definitely hungover from the Euros, but I think other than that, Kane's still been brilliant for me in that centre midfield. He's still always been passing really well. He's just had no support whatsoever. Now there are certain chances that he would have scored. He would have scored certainly over the months, but for me, he's been living off scraps. Very few balls into him inside the box. Very few balls. Yesterday was different. We're getting used to the formation. I think that was a lot to do with it. But no, he was very much back to his best. But he did miss that shot that went well over the bar, and he probably should have scored that. They headed it the crossbar. If we lost 2-1, people would be having a go at Kane, saying you should have taken these chances. They would have. It's as simple as that. But no, he was very good. He was very good.
Yeah. Chris Angbar's made a good point. Thanks to Arsenal, Højbjerg did get his vest, so I didn't think of that. Ankit, Kane obviously looking sharp again. We come to your striker, Lukaku, who did the Harry Kane interview, just Gary Neville wasn't there this time for him. And on your channel yesterday, I think it was Ishan saying that he wanted Lukaku dropped. I think Conte and Spurs, if they saw Lukaku not on the team sheet and he's fit, would probably be happy with that. And there's possibly a friction between him and Ziyech. What do you make of Lukaku? Would you start him? Do you think he'll come back to Lukaku of old as the season progresses? Because if Lukaku wants to play, he's pretty unplayable, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. I think it's the point here is it's a derby. It's basically a 6-pointer, and for me, Lukaku. Come on, we paid 98 million for the guy. I know he's not been in form. He's not basically his mind has not been there. Let's be honest. Yes, you can say that there have been a lot of as an arguments on the pitch, off the pitch, but those are speculative because we don't really know what's the truth until we're told by basically a known source. But for me, that's just speculation. For me, I would still play him in this big game. The idea is about as in Tuchel needs to basically clear it out in a team meeting. Totally off the record and basically just say, open it up like, hey guys, what's the issue? Let's speak it out. It's about this couple of months because it's not just this game and the league. The next month is so crucial for us. It could be historic season for us. We've not won the Club World Cup, as in we've bottled it literally the last time we were there, right? That is there. Then of course we have the Carabao Cup final, and those are some big moments in Chelsea's season. If we can get them right, our season will be back on track. Yes, of course, not the title challenge. That's not what I mean. But certainly, in terms of helping the Champions League run and those kind of things, making the right kind of signings come the summer because we want positive environment going, and of course the players to kind of just have a better chemistry going for the next season. So for me, it's crucial that we get things right now, because if we are not playing Lukaku in this game, such a big game, just like we did against Liverpool, we are just inviting more pressure and more media talk, which is not going to go well in the coming weeks, which is crucial, like I said. So for me, I would play him. And of course, like that one moment, he still has it in him. Even that City game, yes, people will be saying that, hey, he lost the ball so many times. That was basically the crucial game of our season for us to try and stay there. But that one moment that he had against Ederson, if Ederson wouldn't have made that save, Lukaku would have been in, probably fine form. You would have been speaking, great things about him right now, because despite what he went through in the last month, he scored a goal, those kind of things. So things change very quickly in football. So I wouldn't want Tuchel to react. And knowing Tuchel, I think he'll not take that kind of call that he did against Liverpool. Against Liverpool, it was totally different, because he had just gone to the media without Chelsea's permission and so on and so forth, right? So those are different contexts altogether. This time we need the 3 points, and in the Carabao Cup games, he didn't do too bad either. So for me, I would start him. And it's interesting that you say about Ziyech, because yes, Ziyech wasn't too happy. That was quite obvious. He wasn't too happy, not the fight, but yeah, definitely not too happy with Lukaku's movement or lack of it per se. But on the other hand, Ziyech got us a goal as well against Brighton. So yes, you can say that he didn't celebrate it, but the fact that he's got that hunger in him to prove people wrong can only be a good thing for Chelsea.
Yeah.
I actually look at it as a positive. And Mason Mount, again, not being informed more recently. If a London derby against Spurs cannot, turn him on, I don't know what will, knowing Mason
Yeah.
Mount. So I am strangely, again, kind of wanting the same front three. And I'm sure, like a lot of Chelsea fans, if we go ask, they'll probably go other way around, like Ishan did as well. I'll probably want the same front three, because continuity is something that is more needed right now, and we don't want to invite more media talk and pressure.
Yeah, and Ben here, United fan, obviously seen Lukaku up in person with his team. I won't ask you this, Tommy, because I don't want to tempt fate, so we're going to ask a Chelsea fan this. Ben always questioned Lukaku in big games in the Premier League. What would you make of that? You've obviously had him in the Premier League. He was a lot younger than when he was with you the first time. But he did score against Man United, Ferguson's United. I think he got a hat-trick when he was with West Brom. It was the end of the season. But yeah, Ben questioning his Lukaku in big games in the Premier League. What would you make of that? Ankit there.
Okay, so for me, certainly, honestly, in recent years, yes, he hasn't been that good in big games. But like you mentioned about, not just basically, I know he was very young at West Brom, but I think even in the Everton game, Everton time, I think he scored a winner in the FA Cup. He knocked us out. That was a big game for sure against Chelsea for him. And of course, again, I think for Manchester United against Chelsea, he had some, decent games as well. So I would say, like, yes, you can say that, he hasn't really lived up to the expectation. But again, there is basically a school of thought saying that in big games, Lukaku is the kind of player who wants a lot of service, right? And the way Chelsea play, especially, we don't kind of dominate possession, say, compared to a Man City. I know that in recent times we've improved lots on that front, but still, we are not that kind of team who play possession football all the time, right? So for us, basically, on that counter, you kind of take it in that moment. And of course, we've signed Lukaku for that instance itself. But again, more recently, I think it was Akbar Lohar who's actually gone on record saying that Lukaku, you can clearly see that he's actually calling for the ball. He's putting his arm up, and his arm might be starting to pain because the players aren't playing him in. And that's a fair call as well. So I wouldn't judge too much, because this season has been kind of, in and out because of injury, COVID, and of course the controversy that happened. So I wouldn't read too much. And of course, in Inter Milan days, he didn't do too bad. Yes, you can say Europa League final, he didn't kind of turn up. But come on, like, you can't kind of put down to one person. He got them to the final as well. So for me, he's had very good moments, but there's certainly room for improvement.
If you was gonna, sorry, Ankit, I just want to ask you a question. If you was a betting man and you were looking at things this summer, would you say Tuchel's still there? Obviously, they had a little bit of a falling out. Do you think Lukaku would still be there for 22-23?
Come on, like, of course, like, just going by logic, you would say no. But again, fact is, like, we bought him for 98 million. he's done what he's done. I don't think there'll be many clubs willing to pay that much, for basically someone who brings that amount of baggage. So we are kind of stuck with him. Let's be honest. And that's the reality. And that's why I would rather want us to utilize him more and maybe integrate him back to the squad. But we all forget, right? These are all what 28, 29-year-old young men. They're like people like you and me, right? So you always make mistakes, and that's human nature. Hey, Chris, big up to you. But yes, I would certainly, as in keep him. Again, that's basically going against the run of basically what the majority would say, but I would say that he stays.
How you doing, Chris? Thanks so much for coming on.
I do apologise.
Oh, that's okay. Don't worry about that. But
just woke up.
That's okay. We won't dwell too much on Leicester because I'm sure you don't particularly want to talk about it. But
still hungover. It's a 3-day hangover. Let's face it. Chris is a 3-day hangover.
It was a crazy game. I mean, 27 shots for us to your 14. We were at the races from the start. And then a very, very strange 3 minutes in injury time has completely turned it on its head. But I would imagine, like, angry about the equaliser, but these things happen. We're knocking at the door, and then it's possible that those things happen. But then to go take a kick off, Tielemans as well, one of your best players, trying a ball that isn't really on, and then you end up conceding another goal. I mean, what did you make of the game, and particularly that last 2 minutes?
I mean, that first half, if you'd got your shooting boots on, you should have been 3 or 4-0 up.
Yeah.
And if we'd lost, say 4-3, like we just, like the Man City game, if we'd come back but we still lost, I would have accepted that. It was just the manner and the way that we lost. And if you look at that game, it was 3 of the goals were in off the post. On another day, those 3 shots could have hit the post and come out. The winning goal, it went in an inch to the left, and the ball would have hit the post and come out. It's just one of those games. But you on that first half performance, you deserved it, to be honest with you. You were all over.
Would you put that down to that we were so better than you? Looking so much better than you in that first half when you're at home, and you're an attacking team as well, and you didn't lay the gloves on us that we laid on you. What would you put that down to? Or do you just think that's to do with your injuries or lack of confidence at the moment, being that you're lower down than where you finished last season?
Well, you have finally got a decent manager who knows what he's doing. And I think if that game you still had Nuno in charge, you wouldn't have won. You might have got a draw.
Oh, yeah. We wouldn't have scored if we'd have had Nuno in charge, let alone winning.
Our best player as a squad is Tielemans, and every time he got the ball, it was closed down. He literally had 2 players on him all game, and you didn't give him a chance to sort of do sort of what he's good at doing. The actual overall thing, I'd say, is down to, a bit of naivety on our side. 2-1 up at 91 minutes, you run the ball into the corner. You don't try and do fancy things. I think when it was still 2-1, one of our players, don't know who it was, but was running up the left wing. You closed him down, and he didn't, 9 times out of 10, just boot it forward and try and outrun the opposition player. But he didn't. He stopped. He turned. He passed it back to another player in our half, and you don't do that. It is, as I say, total naivety. And like I said, they say size matters. But as I say, I think a lot of those goals, certainly that last one, an inch made all the difference.
Yeah.
I mean, I say, you pretty much now are like Arsenal were to us for many, many years. When you look and say, "Oh, it's Tottenham," we might as well give you 3 points because whatever happens, you're going to beat us. And the fact that we've. When you look at the stats, I think it was quite close, actually, up until the other night. I think we'd won 5, you'd won 6 of all the Premier League meetings. I think most of our wins were at the back end of the 1990s under Martin O'Neill. Since we've come back up, you seem to have had this thing over us that we can't beat you. So if you said to me at the start of the game, it's going to be 2-1, 3-2, I'd have said, yeah, it's a given. It was just the way it happened. It was just hard to take. Yeah, and the fact that we've given you another record now as well. you were losing the latest ever into a game and then to come back and win.
Yeah, I actually quite like Leicester. I know, the whole title win was against us, essentially. I know we finished third, but yeah, I don't mind Leicester. But Daryl's here asked the rival fans where they think Spurs will finish. Let's get a neutral view. So obviously that was a huge win for us, I think, against Leicester, being that we've got Chelsea next, because now we're right back into that top 4 race and possibly top 3 race. But Chris, where do you think Spurs will finish this season? And as well, what do you think about Leicester, where they'll finish?
After this game, I was obviously down. I was, Ankit will tell you, I was a little bit upset, a little bit wound up.
Well, that's understandable. We all are when we've had results like that, and all four of us have had results like that.
Yeah, I mean, I could say had you won normally, I could have lived with it. But when you sit back and analyse it, Leicester have only actually played 19 games. So we've got another 19 to play. We are halfway through the season. We've had a bad first half of the season. We've had a lot of injuries. There's a lot of clubs. We've always been sort of linked with that sort of 5th, 6th place. But this season, there's a lot of clubs now that are caught us up, if you like, and they're going ahead of us. Yourself, Arsenal, West Ham, all vying for that sort of position.
But West Ham, I forgot in the top 4 race as well. I do apologise to West Ham fans.
Yeah, it's still open there. I mean, I think there's too much for us to catch up. But we saw James Justin coming back in that game. That's a big plus for us. Fofana's back training, so he could be coming back. So let's not get too worried about Leicester at the moment. But I think we could probably finish 6th or 7th. Tottenham, you've impressed me. I've got to be honest with you. And it just shows how things can turn around. Look where you were when Nuno left you, and look where you are now. I had the top 4 at the start. I had Chelsea winning. The Chelsea really letting me down this season because I had them as winning the league.
That must be your fault, Ankit.
they let everyone down. Trust me, like a lot of people have lost their money. I can assure you that.
I think the problem is for me the title race is over. I think Man City got it in the bag. You then got Liverpool and Chelsea are going to finish top 4. Definitely. So it's that 4th place, which I thought Man United were going to get with the squad that they've got, but they shot themselves in the foot again this season. So I think top 4. Can West Ham hold on to that? I don't know. I'm few injuries and they could be struggling. Yeah. Could you get in there, Tottenham? If you make a couple of good purchases, I don't think it's down to just a couple of good purchases. I think you need more than that. But if Conte can get what he wants, there's no reason. I don't know. You can't snatch that top 4th place.
Yeah, and just to cut in, Tommy. I know you need to head off. Thanks so much for coming on. You're on mute there, Tom. You're on that mute there.
I was just going to say, cheers for having me. Good to hear from the second, Chris. Good to hear from the second, Chris, before we go. But I tell you what, Chris, you think you're depressed after Wednesday. We're still in mourning for 6 years. That was the best. Honestly, that was the best Spurs squad we've ever had in Premier League history. That's the best Spurs squad we've had. We should have at least took it to the last day or been closer. So, and no disrespect, but your back line When that back line wins you the league, it's depressing for us. Was it Hoof, Morgan,
And
the
at the end,
centre-back,
that's what
Danny
keeps me going.
Simpson,
At the end
right
of
back?
the day,
The German
there's
chap
only
left. Who's
three
the German
points.
chap left back? Who was the German left back?
Fuchs.
Fuchs. We lost
Austrian.
to that. We had Vertonghen, Alderweireld, Carl Walker. It was just, we go through the squad and it's like, yeah, we're still best from that. So don't worry too much. Don't worry too much about it. Well, thanks for having me.
No problem. Just before you go, your channel, where can people find that? It's in the description anyway, but just give yourself a plug.
Tommy Talks Ball, YouTube. The two YouTube channels on my Twitter handle as well. So if you follow my Twitter, you'll find it there. I've got one of Chris's mates coming on tonight. One of Chris's good mates, Brad, another Leicester fan. He's going to be on my show for the first 20 minutes, half hour. So I'm going to do a preview to the Chelsea game. So make sure you tune in for that. But before you do anything, make sure you subscribe to Chris. It's a pleasure being on, and
pleasure having you on as always.
To hear you, brilliant to hear from you again. And come on, you Spurs. My prediction. I'll just give my quick prediction. It's 1-1. It's 1-1, or we might sneak it 2-1. We might sneak it 2-1.
I'd take a 1-1 draw, to be perfectly honest, as long as we don't lose and stop that momentum that we've got. But cheers, Tommy, and make sure after you've hit like, subscribe here, you go to Tommy's channel and hit like and subscribe there.
Well, that's right.
I mean, just quickly on the game before we come to Ankit about Daryl's question. If we'd have had Mourinho in charge, we would have held off for a draw and not try and get the winner as soon as we got that equaliser, get the ball, put it on the spot, and we got our rewards for that. But Ankit, in terms of Daryl's question, where do you think Spurs will finish this season and also Chelsea as well?
See, as in, like I said earlier, like if Chelsea don't finish top 4, like, if you're doomed, that's what we can say. Like, like I said, Chris, as well, like, we've literally bottled the league, as in terms of we should have definitely at least challenged City. We had chances against Liverpool, against City themselves, and of course, these games in between where we got all those draws, irrespective of how many COVID cases, how many injuries we had. I think to some extent, I would also kind of say that Tuchel, time and again, saying it publicly in press conferences, in basically post-match interviews about us being the only team possibly, who are affected so much and not having, a game cancelled. That gets on the players' minds, and that's what's happened. So I would say, like, from this time on, I would want Tuchel to be a little bit positive. I know it's difficult, but that's what the manager's job is. Like, he's got to get them going, and this game can be basically, kick in the backside that we needed. Spurs getting that last minute, as in double winner, I would say almost. But Chelsea is conceding late on, and that's something of a repetition that's happened. So we really needed that, and I can see us basically just about clinging that third or fourth spot. I think probably third, I would say, and fourth spot. Certainly Tottenham. You guys are what, four points ahead of us if you win all the games, like I said. But yes, it's easier said than done. But knowing Conte, I think you still basically are fighting for the league. You're not there in the cups anymore. I know FA Cup is there, but that's the only thing. So for me, knowing Conte, he'll work well with the team, whatever he has. And again, I know Fabrizio Romano has gone record saying that Conte apparently is in good terms with Daniel Levy. Surprises me with no signings until now, knowing Conte. But again, it's early days.
Insert name here is on good terms with Daniel Levy is a surprise, regardless of what name you put there.
Absolutely. But you know what? That means that maybe Conte is there for the long run. That's what, if I can basically trust those reports, is like he's been given the confidence of a long kind of term, and he's kind of willing to kind of invest himself the time. Again, with Inter Milan, it wasn't like he did great things in the first season. Like, he kind of improved over the course of time. And it's really the second season. And I think one comment about Jose Mourinho. Again, Jose Mourinho was such kind of manager as well. But I know the tactics are way different. But Conte, the difference is that he goes for that, that win in the end. Like he kind of, sucks up all the pressure and goes for that win towards the end in games. And that'll probably keep Tottenham in good stead. And I can see actually Spurs pipping Manchester United, Arsenal, West Ham to top 4, because for you to keep Harry Kane, Son, even of the likes, for me, as in, I know Loris has signed a new contract, but I think Son is a real big deal in terms of world football. Trust me. You've got to get top 4 to keep them on, and I think probably that's a motivation. I think one person we don't speak about enough, I'm sure even Spurs fans kind of miss out on, is Lucas Moura. I know he was a hero in the Champions League, but for me, he's that weapon, that a Conte weapon, if I may say so. He really likes those counter-attacking, dribblers that he had. Of course, I'm not going to compare with Hazard, what Conte had at his disposal, in Chelsea. But, he's got it, in terms of the Conte way of play. So I can certainly see him doing well in the last few weeks. But again, it comes down to injuries as well. I won't really rely too much on Conte alone. And that's where I think, like Chris said, about getting those one or two signings would help.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice that you both said we can get top four. A lot of Spurs fans think we're not good enough for top four, but I just want to speak quickly. Pity I didn't get a chance to ask Tommy this, but Hugo is signed until 2024. We've been calling out for that for months and weeks. Finally, we've given him a contract extension. We thought it'd be 1 year, but it's 2 years. But we have Hugo Lloris until 2024, which is really good news for us. That cloud of whether do we need a new goalkeeper in the summer is now lifted. We don't need a new goalkeeper in the summer, maybe the following summer. But yeah, Chris, in terms of the game, you mentioned there you wouldn't have been too bothered if we'd have won just standard. But, when you win like that, that can galvanise a team when you come from the brink of defeat and it can... You saw the reaction of all the players hugging, going into the crowd and everything like that. So it can galvanise a team and bring them together, and that can lead them on to bigger and better things. On the flip side, if you lose a game like that, it can do one or two things. It can shoot your confidence all the way down and you go on a bit of a spiral, or it can be, well, we're not having that again. We're making this right and that's not happening again. In terms of Leicester, which of those do you think will happen? I mean, you have got huge injury crisis, so that doesn't help. Anyway, your main man Vardy is out for a little while at least, so obviously you'd want a winner and a leader like that in. But what do you, I don't know who your next game is, but how do you see that going and the reaction of the players?
We've got Brighton. We're
Brighton.
hosting
That won't be easy, will it? They're a good team, Brighton.
No, we know that.
Yeah.
I just can't predict anything with Leicester this season. It's just a really weird season, and you know when you look at the league, you look at the players that you've got and the games that you've got coming up, and you can say, well, we're going to win that one. That might be a draw. No, that's a given. We're going to lose that one, etc. But this season, anybody can beat anybody. Look at Norwich at the weekend getting the win. You don't guess that, and you just. There's just weird results, and we have. And I don't like blaming injuries because when clubs say, oh, you've got a lot of injuries and what have you, and Klopp's going on about it all the time. You think, come on, you've got a big enough squad, and that team that we put out against you should have at least got a draw from that. So I'm not going to blame the injuries. And last season we had more with COVID and what have you. We Fuchs was playing last season more games than he'd played in the previous 5. So no excuse for it. You can't always. I mean, we've had one bad season after 2 very good ones. Look at Tottenham. Not being funny. How many? You had a bad season last season. Every now and again, a team will have a bad season.
Yeah. Football runs in cycles, doesn't it, really?
Yeah.
You look at Manchester United and Arsenal at this moment in time, how many years ago, 15, 20 years ago, it was their cycle, a good cycle where they were winning everything.
Indeed, and it's like when we won the Premier League. I don't know if I've ever mentioned the fact that we've won the Premier League, but we have.
I do have to say, I was on your stream on Wednesday before the game. It was a pleasure being on there. But you did give me tips on what a trophy was and third in a 2-horse race. I learned the hard way when we were 3-0 up against Man City and lost in the cup. That you don't take the mick, not mick, but you don't tempt fate before the game or during the game. You wait until after the game. I learned that the hard way because I had all these Man City fans laughing.
Well, we had a say, by the way. Back in 2016, we had a slight say.
Yeah, I just had to get that in.
Well, look, this is Leicester. We don't often get a chance to have a joke and wind up bigger teams, so I still do it. And at the end of the day, yes, you got 3 points, but it's not a trophy, is it?
No.
It's 3 points. But no, all joking aside, how will we react to that? I think we'll react positively. I think it's good that it was this week and we've got another game before the international break because we can't, it's not too long to dwell on it. It's like, you have you fall off your bike, get back on it straight away. And I think had we had that international break now, that would have been, worked against us. Where the fact that we've got Brighton, and the thing that I liked about these games, I mean, the good news was that James Justin was back for that game. That was a big plus for us. Game on 45 minutes. That is massive. I mean, before he got injured, he was on the verge of being in the England squad. That's how good he is, and that who we lost. When we've lost earlier in the season, we lost with absolutely awful performances. They were absolutely dire. No pun intended. But we've got, but at least, like, with the other night, at least we're putting the performances in now. And I think we all say, as fans, we know we're going to lose some games. It's football. You're not going to sort of win every single game. And if your team puts a performance in and loses, you go, fine, fair enough. And take those last few minutes out the game, the rest of the game. I know you had all the shots and what have you, but you could have 100 shots in a game. It's how many goals you've got at the end of it, you know. And we played decently up until those last few minutes, and so looking at it overall, there are good things to take out of that. Although I am grasping at straws a little bit, I will admit.
Chris Agenbar said we had a bad season, still finished above Arsenal. They had a few bad seasons and finished above us not that long ago either. Ankit, I know you have to head off in a minute, but I just want to ask you this. Like Chris says, the international break, and it's good for us that we've had that win, which can possibly galvanise us, and then we've got a game coming on. But 4 games behind you, 8 points behind. Obviously, if we lose that, we can still claw it back against you with those 4 games in hand, but we have to win every game. 8 with a draw isn't that bad, but if we can win 5 points behind you with 4 games in hand and potentially the momentum all with us, we've got the motivation of what you did to us in the Carabao Cup. I think you mentioned on your stream yesterday as well that if you win, it's 200th London Derby win or something like that.
Totaling 500 points in London Derby. But again, I know that shouldn't be the motivation, to be honest.
No, but we've got so much motivation there and so much momentum on our side with that last 2 minutes. And like you say, with your issues potentially with Ziyech and Tuchel and Lukaku not getting on. But I don't think as Chelsea fans you could ask for a better team to come to Stamford Bridge and Tottenham because you win there all the time. But how do you see the game going in terms of certainly the first 10 minutes? Because I want to see the first 50-50 a Chelsea player go up in the air and us saying we're here for a game. We're not here to sit down. But how do you see that going with the momentum and all of these subplots which you either mentioned here, I think you mentioned here earlier, subplots in the game. How do you see it going and a prediction as well?
See, for me, it's interesting that you say that, but yes, as a fan, I would love that as well. Like, I just need a battle because I need these players to show some passion. Even come on, we guys are literally waking up, the place where I literally wake up at 4 a.m, 3 a.m, and watch the games, and I'm as in crazily celebrating, and these guys, on the pitch at Stamford Bridge, etc., they're not celebrating. That's not done. So I would like to see that and some kind of battle. I know the battle of the bridge, etc., but let's not go there. But what I really see happening, honestly, is Tuchel has seen the team not functioning. That cohesion is missing, kind of on the pitch as well. So the main thing would be for them to just get those, say 15, 20 passes together. I know Spurs won't make it easy at all, especially Conte's sides don't in midfield. But if you're able to get those passes going, and that's something that will, build the confidence, I would actually see, that happening because that control in games is missing, right? And that's something that we need. And you mentioned about the international break as well. It couldn't get worse if, yes, Spurs will be happy with a draw or basically obviously a win. For us, either of the results are very bad. They are probably the worst that can be because we are already in that bad phase when it comes to the team morale and etc. We really need a win, and we couldn't buy that no matter what we do in the league. And we really need that league win because, yes, we have to get things together right. We have a very important month coming up, and only things will get bad in terms of the media talk and whatnot if you're not getting that. So in terms of the game, I would personally like us to go at Tottenham, get the game, by the scruff of the neck. But again, knowing Tuchel, he'll probably want control and then probably take things from there. which is something that I wouldn't ideally want, but I won't mind as long as basically the team is functioning. So it's about getting basically the flow, because even our systems, it's basically changed every game. We played, I think, 4 at the back in one of the games against Spurs, and 5 at the back. Then we again went to 4 at the back last game. I know it's about injuries, that's missing a lot of centre halves, especially. But we really want them to basically, function. And I think an early goal will help. That's no secret there. And a Lukaku goal will be fantastic. So I am in terms of prediction, I am calling us to win. Obviously, going with my team here against the run of form or the morale. But I think it'll be a close game for sure, and we'll probably get a late winner, and that'll make things interesting, won't it?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have to start better than we did in the Carabao Cup games. We didn't start at all, and certainly that first leg, you could have been out of sight and had the second leg off pretty much if you'd have scored more goals. But as it turned out, it didn't really matter because you won 3-0. But yeah, I know you need to head off. Thanks so much for coming on. I would say good luck on Sunday, but it's completely not meaningless because I wouldn't mean it at all. But thank you so much for coming on, and your channel there. It's in the description anyway, but give yourself a plug, let people know where they can find it.
Thanks, mate. Always great to chat with you, and of course, Chris, and of course, great to talk with both the Chris's together, and of course, Tommy. Always a pleasure. But yes, and then we love a good banter, and yes, Almighty Blues FC is a fan channel for everyone to see. We do a lot of Chelsea content, but we have basically gone into a lot of rival watch, rival talk, etc. So we have like Chris and of course, Leicester TV. They've been on our channel. Everyone is welcome. Do come on. We are going to restart a trivia show as well. Hopefully you like that. And again, great to come on, and hopefully we have a positive discussion even after the game, irrespective of the result.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, as long as we don't lose, I'm all right. Obviously, I want to win. You obviously want to win. A draw is a better result for us, I think. But yeah, certainly where we're going, Stamford Bridge, we don't usually do well there. But yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, definitely. We'll talk after the game, and I'm sure it'll be amicable, even though one of us is possibly going to be crying. Thanks so much, Ankit, and take it easy. Have a good weekend. Have a good weekend apart from 4:30 to about 6:30 on Sunday.
Sure thing. You too. Take care. Bye.
Cheers, Ankit.
Cheers.
And Chris, in terms of the Spurs Chelsea game, how do you see that going? Because against Leicester, we played a lot more expansive formation with a 3 in midfield, the Wink, Skip, and the Højbjerg. Usually, it's 2 of the 3. I can't see that happening. I think that Carabao Cup, Chelsea are a better team than us. They certainly were there and far, far better than us. I think if we do that, then Tuchel could find a way to carve us open. But then if we don't, against you, we went for it from the start, evidenced by, like you said, the first half, we were all over you and had so many chances. Two off the line, 1 off the bar, as well as the goal. So it's a balancing act for us, I think. Because we either go full out attacking and potentially get picked off, or we don't go attacking and end up with the dross that we had in the Carabao Cup things, and then Chelsea get ahead of steam, get the first goal, and it's game over. But how do you see it going?
There's one decisive factor in this game for me, and that's Conte. He's going to want to win this. He's up against his old club. Yeah. He's up against a club that fired him. He's going to want to make a point to prove, and add on to top of that the cup. You went out sort of in fairness with a whimper, really, didn't you?
Yeah.
The first leg kind of killed it off, but I've actually got, and I'm sorry, mate, but I've actually got Chelsea down to win this.
Yeah,
in my
I mean that's the obvious one, isn't it? Because it's Stamford Bridge, we don't win there. We've won once since 1990 or something ludicrous like that, and the cup games show they are a better team. So I would think that even Spurs fans would be expecting a loss, and a draw is a good result. But it's just it's how quickly football can change. We were all down in the dumps after that second leg. We didn't play the North London derby, obviously.
Yeah.
And then we play a game against Leicester where we're losing and then turn it around in the last 2 minutes. Now, all of a sudden, we can win this game. Whereas a week ago, it's like, oh, God, we've got to go to Chelsea again.
But
it's amazing how football can change. And
you can go from 1 week saying, Rodgers out is rubbish. Rodgers in is the best tactician ever. We lost to Liverpool in the Carabao Cup. We were ahead again there, and they got a goal back. It went to penalties. We lost. 2 weeks later, or no, less than a week. It was a week later, just after Christmas. We played them in the league. We had a patched up team, and we beat them 1-0. It's just you can't predict anything really good this season. And I'm looking at the prediction league that I do, and nobody's getting loads right. It's just a weird season, but
makes it entertaining, but very difficult for prediction leagues and predictions on streams. But
yeah. I mean, you this is as I say now. As long as you back Conte, and I think you will do, because I think he turned you down in the summer. You had Nuno, who was your 200th choice or something like that. You've then gone back to Conte, and I am sure Conte will have sat there and gone, right, okay, you need me now more than I need you. Because let's be honest with you, Conte could walk into the Man United job. There's loads of jobs he could have had. This is what I want. And he would have said, right, there's this much money to spend on players, and Daniel Levy would have just had to go, yes, because you were in such a mess. So Conte, I think, is in a very strong position. Now, this season, anything I think you get this season is a bonus for you. It really is, because he's come in midway, and you were doing. But look how your season's changed so quickly. Going from also rans to challengers. But next season, I think if Conte does get that back in, which I think he will do, you're going to be up there, definitely.
Yeah, it remains to be seen what we do in January. I think Traore will eventually come. I think it's been dragging on and on and on and on, and I think eventually he will come. But I think that'll probably be it. I still want a creative player because, like I said on your channel, I think you suited us because you attack us, so you leave the gaps there. And Kane's goal, there was no one anywhere near him, so I don't know what happened there, but the spaces were there because you attacked us. So I think Chelsea will be a little bit different. So we look a little bit flat. I mean,
they've got a decent defence. That's the difference.
Yeah, I mean, if Bergwijn does play, and then because Kane coming deep is absolutely fine. You just have to have one of your players who starts behind Kane to then go
overlapping
and take his. That's how England looked so flat against Scotland in the Euros, because no one was running past him. Against the other teams, it was Sterling running past him, being the striker, and then it worked because you can afford Kane to come deep because you've got someone up there for him to play the ball to. Whether that happens again, I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, and in terms of Leicester, you say you got Brighton. I'm not sure if it's at home or away, but Brighton are a really good outfit. Yeah. So that's probably a good thing for you, getting the crowd back on your side, roaring there. But Brighton are a striker away from having a real serious case for European football, I think. If they got a decent striker, if they got someone like a Danny Ings, a fit Danny Ings, they could be really making real waves. They've only lost 3 games, I think. They've drawn with Chelsea. They've not lost to the Cities and the Liverpools, I think. But yeah, I mean, you've always got a chance of getting something against them because as well as they play, they can't put the ball in the back of the net. But so how do you think that game will go in your?
I mean, with Brighton, I do. I'm not on this Graham Potter is the new Messiah thing that everybody seems to be going. Right, come back in a couple of seasons when he has got a couple of trophies, and then I will go, yeah, he's a good manager, But at the moment, he kept a completely average Brighton side in it last season when they were struggling at the bottom, and this season, which is a funny season, like I say, he's done reasonably well. But when if you look at the table, and let me just get the table up now. I mean, they are. Well,
I think they're 9th. No, they're 8th or 9th or something like that, I think.
They're 9th. They're only 1 point above us. They had a really good start. But I mean, they're still the 9th, which is good for Brighton. But that doesn't make Graham Potter the next England manager. You know what I mean? As a team, you know, they've won, drawn the last 5. It could go either way. I'm not saying that we would, you know, they'll come and we'll run them over. We only just managed to get a point early in the season against them. Excuse me. I'm just glad we've got the game after what happened.
Yeah.
Like I say, a loss is a loss, but it was a psychological effect of the way we lost against you. I'm glad we've got another game to come up before. Brighton are tough, but then do you know what? If it was Norwich that were coming up next and we were hosting Norwich, and we say we would expect to beat them. Let's be honest with you. No disrespect to Norwich.
Yeah.
Wherever Norwich go, you think you're going to win that game. So if Norwich were to come next and we weren't to get anything out of that game, or only just get a draw again, like we got earlier in the season, that wouldn't be good for us psychologically. If Brighton come and say we draw with Brighton, we can say, well, yeah, it's Brighton. They're having a good season this season. So it's not a bad game to have. I'd sooner have a tougher game this week than an easier game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite interesting games, isn't it? I mean, you know.
It's a funny season. Like I say, you know, we've got to accept that we've done really well the last 2 seasons. But like I say, there was nobody, apart from probably West Ham, there was nobody really challenging us for that 4th, 5th position. You guys have come back this season really good. Arsenal have come back. West Ham again. So there is more competition, if you like, for that place. But if we finish, I don't know, say 8th, 7th, 8th, 9th, but you know, we could win the Europa Conference League, whatever cup it's called, whatever. I'd take that as a good season.
Yeah, I don't think you're out of that top 4 race at all. I mean, there's a lot of discrepancies in the league with terms of games played, and I think you're, in terms of Chelsea, I think you're 4 games behind them as well. Which, I mean, I didn't have many games behind teams below Chelsea and above you. But if you were to play all of those games now and win them all, I mean, it's a completely different complexion. So it's very difficult to say like who is out of the top 4 race. Obviously, the teams who are 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, or whatever are definitely in the top 4 race. It's very difficult to say who's out of it until these games, the game numbers kind of tally up to either one discrepancy of 1 rather than 4. So I don't think you're out of it. And you know, you mentioned Conte there, who's had a run of games, or Ankit mentioned that. You know, you're capable of having a run of games as well. And if that's at the right time of the season, and we know as well from experience, the 4th place doesn't seem to want 4th place come the end of the season because they keep losing silly games. Happens every year. So there's a lot of football to be played. And a big shout out to Eugene in the chat. How you doing, Eugene? Yeah, so it's very strange, I think, and it won't start to take shape. Well, it's taken shape already, but it won't start to be clear on who is and who isn't in that top 4 race until I reckon about 30 games, because I reckon that's when 30 games will be when the games are kind of tallying up, or maybe one away here, one away there.
But like I said to you earlier, you know, all this doom and gloom around Leicester, we've only played half the season.
Yeah.
We've got another half to go. And anything can happen. You know, in the past 2 seasons, though, we've had a really good start and we've tailed off towards the end. Maybe this time it's the other way around. And, you know, Liverpool were out of it last season with 5-10 games to go. And they sort of had a good run and nipped that 4th place off us. United did it the season before. So, yeah, we put a good run together. And I think the thing for us as well is, and it's unfair, but it is what it is, those games, say those 4 games we've got on Chelsea, when we actually play them, we'll have Justin back. Hopefully we might have Fofana back.
And Vardy as well.
Yeah, well, we had Noah Marty at the weekend, and he's probably our best defender at the moment, and he'll be back from the African Cup of Nations, hopefully for the weekend. The players have got to isolate or not. So we're playing these games with a better team than we would have had when we played them. So as that's unfair. I know it's totally unfair. I don't agree with it, but you've got to look at. And I know I say maybe I'm grasping at straws here, trying to take something positive out of a huge negative. But it's not over. It's not over by a long shot. And we're still in the Europa Conference League. That's the thing.
Yeah, and Gugamar, hopefully I've pronounced that right. Anything could happen. Eugene here says, in terms of Spurs, anyway, we're getting top 4 with new signings. I would say don't do it to yourself, Eugene, but he's put 6 laughing emojis there, so I think he's joking. But, I mean, I say about Leicester might not be out of the top 4 race when you get your games in hand back. We could easily be in that, in third by that time. Certainly if we don't lose to Chelsea, and if we can beat Chelsea 5 points behind them with 12 potential points in hand on them. But yeah, there's a lot of football to be played, but we've pretty much reached the end. There's not much else we can talk about other than going over our ground or talking about how upset you were at the game, which I'm not going to do to you. But yeah, thanks so much for coming on.
No, sorry I was late, mate.
I don't know. You don't have to apologise for that. And thanks so much for coming on, and especially after the result as well. It's very brave of you to come on. I got a few comments saying that the Leicester fans brave, isn't he? But yeah, I appreciate it. And check out Chris's channel, Leicester Till I Die. Where can people find that? It is in the description, but where can people find
the Twitter handle there at Leicester TID. On YouTube at Leicester Till I Die TV. Give us a subscribe. Come and watch it. I do get a little bit salty. I've got to be honest with you. If you go back and see a few comments, and in fairness, Tottenham fans have been on and made some comments. Cheers,
nice comment from Google. We Leicester Till I Die. You are awesome. Absolutely agree with that.
Yeah, but yeah, when we do a post-match show, and I had this with Liverpool when we lost to Liverpool in the cup, and they say, "You're not being very nice." And I said, well, this is like half an hour after that final whistle that we've lost. I'm not going to say, oh, yes, Tottenham deserves that. Well done, Tottenham. I do get salty, but that's football,
Yeah.
A couple of days later, when I've calmed down, had a few gins and what have you, you see it in a different light. But no, it is what it is. And, when you look at the stats, you probably... Like I say, a draw would have been a fair result, I think. But well done, guys. You didn't give up. You didn't give up.
Yeah, make sure you check out Chris's channel. It's in the description, like I say, and Ankit and Tommy's as well. Eugene, big up Chris, Leicester Till I Die. And sorry, not able to join you, Chris. Don't worry about that, Eugene. But when we stream here 12:30. PM UK time. I'm not quite sure what time that would be in Malaysia, but you've been on here plenty of times, so you know that. So if you ever got a spare 15 minutes when we're on, just let me know. I can ping you the link, and then you give your thoughts and opinions on Spurs and whatever the latest news is for that. But appreciate the support, appreciate the comments, and everybody for watching and hitting the like on the stream and all other streams as well. Please make sure if you haven't hit that like, please make sure if you haven't hit that subscribe. Then go into the description, do the same for Tommy, Ankit, and Chris's channel. Thanks so much, Chris, for coming on. And also thank you to Tommy and Ankit as well before, who were also on this stream. And it's nice to have a wide range of views, a Leicester view, Chelsea view, and the Tottenham view. Always nice to kind of have different kind of opinions on kind of the same subject from different perspectives. But yeah, one more comment coming in. Cheers, Google Mark. Glad you enjoyed it. But yeah, massive win for us. Hopefully Leicester can bounce back against Brighton. As I say, I don't dislike Leicester, but a draw would be a good result.
Tottenham. I just did for a couple of hours on Wednesday night.
Well, I've disliked him for a couple of decades, so you've still got a long way to go to catch up for me. But yeah, massive win for us that, and hopefully we can take that momentum and the motivation of losing the cup against Chelsea into that, and the promise of 5 points behind with 4 games in hand on third, and really cement ourselves in that top 4 race and potentially even the third place. And then hopefully we can sign a couple of players, 1 or 2, to really really give us a bit of momentum going forward. So a lot to play for this Sunday, not just for Tottenham and Chelsea, but Leicester as well, and a load of other teams as well. Like I say, the top 4 race won't really become absolutely crystal clear until the games are all tallied up. all over the place at the moment in terms of games played. But yeah, Stamford Bridge, hopefully we can get a result there. Draw isn't a bad result. Win would be even better. So that's what I'm hoping for anyway. But yeah, be back on Monday talking about that. I think hopefully I'll have a Chelsea person on there. I'm not sure if Ankit can join, but yeah, if we lose, I'm not sure I want Ankit on there with all respect in the world to Ankit there. But yeah, I'll be back on Monday. Thanks so much for watching. Hit that like, hit the subscribe, do that on all of my guest streams as well. Be back on Monday. Till then, come on, you Spurs.
Thank you so much for watching. For everybody who participated in the live chat and added comments, before you go, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Anybody who couldn't watch the live video, you can still catch us on YouTube. Add any comments, suggestions or questions to the comments section on the video. Anybody who's listened to the audio-only podcast, thank you so much for listening. Anybody who wants the audio-only podcast, you get this wherever you get your podcast from. Alternatively, if you go to Twitter, @Talk Tottenham, you'll find all the information there. We'll be back soon. We're live Mondays, 8 p.m, Fridays, 12:30 UK time. Until then, come on, you Spurs!